everyone, welcome. Happy to have you all here. And we are grateful to Craig Ferrantino for being here this evening. Craig has spoken here on a variety of financial topics over the years. He's a faithful library program he's a presenter, he's a patron, he's a really active civic volunteers in the ambulance, and gives a lot of his time to his church, the Kiwanis Club, Chamber of Commerce, and so forth. But in his professional life, Craig is the president and founder of Craig James Financial Services, LLC. And he's had more than 20 years of experience in the financial industry, having started in 1986 in J.P. Morgan Private Banking Group in New York, and moving on from there, and eventually moving out to Southampton, working at A.G. Edwards, and then starting his own firm. Craig, by the way, has a weekly radio broadcast show. I don't know if you're aware, it's on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. 103.9 FM, and it's all about retirement. So that's why we're here tonight, to hear him enlighten us a bit about Social Security, which is a subject that we have a lot of questions about. Please welcome Craig Ferrantino.
Thank you, Penny. She had a much longer introduction for me, and I started getting very red-faced as she goes on. Last time I spoke, I said, please cut it short. So, very happy to be here. I just came off the Southampton High School football field. My son is still playing right now, losing to Center Riches, playing football 7th and 8th grade. He's on the A and B team. And I literally got out of the bleachers to come here and set all this stuff up. So, if I get a text from my wife that we won, you're going to see me get very ecstatic. But I don't think it was looking too good for the Mariners. That being said, I'm happy to come out here. I've spoken here several times before. And I founded Craig James Financial Services 7 years ago because I felt there was a need to give independent, objective financial advice. We're not owned by any bank or any insurance company, so nobody's standing over my head saying, say this, sell that, all that good stuff. So we're very proud to be here. We started 2 years ago now a radio show called It's All About Retirement. We were first on WRAV, which plays a lot of Frank Sinatra and great stuff like that, but nobody listened to it out here. And so then we went to WLNG, which is 103.9 FM, which has a very good clear signal. They have, it's a little more of a bite, I didn't know that, but on the other station, they have Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and a bunch of other characters. And on Saturday, after my show, is Steve Levy, the former county executive. So it's always good to hear from him. And since he's not in office, of course, he can tell it like it is. So I feel like we got a bunch of people who can tell it like it is on the radio. And it's great being part of a family. All right, so today we're here to talk about Social Security, right? Yes? Anybody tell me who started the Social Security? I got some tchotchkes here. I own the company, so I can give you. This is like a letter opener, screen cleaner, and it's got a little brush that gets in the keyboard. Can you tell me under what administration was Social Security started? Who said that? Excellent. Who was the first person who got the first Social Security check? I'm blowing out your camera. Who? Yes, excellent. So you get one too. All right. And of course, my education and history gets the better part of me, so I kind of try to put things in perspective. Social Security is a government program. First thing I want to say is that I noticed every time there's a balancing the budget discussion, whether it's Republican or Democrat, they call it an entitlement program. Now, do you agree with me? What is Social Security an entitlement program? You're taking money out of your pay. It's different than food stamps or some of the other things. So I just wanted to start on that. I know tomorrow's election day. I'm not saying I'm right or left. I'm just saying it's not an entitlement program. This is money taken out of your paycheck for many years, like 35, your top 35 years, and something that's going to be given back to you, hopefully, for the rest of your life. Is that we all clear on that? So it's not an entitlement program. This is something you worked hard, you earned it, you saved it, and you deserve it. So you shouldn't feel guilty, asking for your Social Security, because this is something you deserve. This is money that was taken out of your paycheck for many, many years. All right, so like a lot of government programs, when we started our radio show like 2.5 years ago, we were talking about, what's there to talk about retirement? Come on, just a couple of things, and every week there's something exciting to talk about. I'm telling you, things are changing, the goalposts are changing. Explain an IRA, explain a Roth IRA, who can convert, who can contribute, there's so much misinformation out there. These are some of these programs that were done late at night to get an agreement, and somehow there's carve-outs for certain interests. And of course, Social Security is part of that. It's a complex, it's a great program. In spite of what people say when I do an analysis of Social Security, I think the funds will be there. I don't think that there's it goes well out into the 2030s at the current rate, even though there's less people working. I think that catches up. You got all this smoke that was blown in the last few years. The Simpson Bowles, which was commissioned by the president, still has a lot of good suggestions. One of the suggestions are to make Social Security needs-based, which is interesting because they took your money out. Then somebody will say, well, why does Warren Buffett need Social Security? I'd be curious if he does collect Social Security. So we should make it needs-based, and they take the most extreme example. But in America, if you ever apply for financial aid for colleges, you may think you're $100,000 in Long Island. That's the extreme. No, you're the one that's not getting financial aid, because $100,000 to the government is a lot of money. So when they say, it's needs-based and all that, so I just wanted to go into that. It's a very complex program, very misunderstood, and I'm glad of the great turnout. Everywhere I've been speaking about this, we're getting some great turnouts. Here's a situation where the government is not giving you money, but it's giving you your money back, different than if it's giving you money. So the people are more motivated. Let's go into it a little bit, and not in the slides. I do want to mention 3 things. There are 3 types of Social Security programs, and actually it's 4, but let's go over 3 real quickly. There's a survivor benefit. That's if someone passes, you're the survivor. There's a spousal benefit. And then the third one is your normal benefit, or your worker's benefit. So a lot of times they get muddled and they get confused. I've done this presentation and people will come out. I had somebody work for B&L Labs, who was a widower twice. Both wives died of legitimate reasons, by the way. One fell off a roof, and then one had cancer. And was 68 years old and didn't know that he could be collecting on one of his wives while he waited for his own full Social Security benefit. So you imagine how happy he was to come to a simple lecture like this. We also did some analysis in the office. So you could really, really make a difference for people. It's quite exciting to be a part of this. But there's a lot of misinformation. You had no idea you could do that. So let's talk. Let's get this thing going here. Here we go, disclosure. All right, yeah. Okay. This is a normal, if I was giving financial advice, disclosure, but I'm not doing that right now, so pass over that. Do you know that most people spend more time planning their vacation than their retirement future? Why is that? Help me out. Yeah, vacation. There's a whole, actually, if you just walk outside the library, I know the library really well. All those folders, books, and everything are just right outside the door. You know what I'm talking about? Right outside the door. That's right. We know when a vacation begins. We know when a vacation ends. We know how much it's going to cost. What about your retirement? Do we know when it begins? Not necessarily. Do we know when it ends? Yeah, when you're no longer vertical, right? So, and how much are you going to spend? So that's why Social Security is part of a larger equation that in the retirement realm, or the retirement planning realm, that really takes a very big part of it, because people need a certain income to live on, and so somewhere along the line they're going to draw assets from some places or some buckets of money, one of it being Social Security. But should I take it at 62? Should I take it at 66? Should I take it at 70? The question is, that question really needs to be hinged on several other things. Like, what do you have in savings? What do you have in qualified money, meaning IRAs and things like that? What do you have in non-qualified money? And what's the most efficient way to get you through that? And it's so important to get that right, because if you get that wrong, you could be good, look good till about 75, and then things can look bad. And so it's like one of those things. I always compare. When I used to study, my dad worked for Northrop Grumman Aerospace and was part of the lunar module. And he would always tell me, I was like, Dad, why do I need to calculate this for 7 digits past the 7 digits to the right of the decimal, or 10 digits to the right of the decimal point? He goes, well, because if you don't do it right, you're going to send an astronaut to another planet aside from the moon. And he was right. So it's the type of thing that requires some really, really good planning. Social Security is an integral part of that, but not all the entire picture. All right. Okay, let me go through here. Let's go through my staff here. Great. Great. Okay. Let's talk about maximizing Social Security income. So we're going to understand the basics about Social Security benefits, the planning process, and some strategies specifically designed for couples, and a report showing how to maximize your benefits. All right, so let's go. So, Social Security benefits. What's your minimum, maximum ages to... Whoa, did we lose anything? What happened here? Sorry. There we go. Ah, this cable was loose. That was pretty weird. Okay. Thought I was at a Grateful Dead concert. Okay. Born after 1937, minimum age of 62, maximum age of 70. When can you file for benefits? Now, if you can read there, can I move? Did I have to be stuck here, or can I move over? I'll stay here. All right. All right. So, if you can read this, it'll tell you that if your birthday is between 1943 and 1954, your full retirement age is what year? Can you read that?
66.
Yeah. Right. So everybody knows that, right?
66.
Excellent. 66. All right. So most of you somewhere in that? Okay, good. If you're born after 1954, you're closer to 59. What's the next? Then they start chewing at the months for you. So 1959, you got to wait till 66 and 10 months. You see that towards the bottom there? If you're born 1959. All right. So when can you file for benefits? At your earliest retirement age, which would be 62. When are you at the full retirement age? 66. It's considered full retirement. FRA. Now, it's the second one I started with. There's survivor benefits, there's spousal benefits, and then there's workers' benefits, or normal benefits. So between the three, we get those confused. The second thing we get confused is FRA. I think I get ahead of myself. Full retirement age. Okay? FRA allows you to play games with the system and maximize your Social Security system. If you know all this, right? So if you do it early, what happens?
You get less.
You get less, but also you've locked in. Very good. So locked in. You don't want to. If you take it at 62, you're locked in for the rest of your life. If you take it at 66, you have other options. So let's go talk about that. How do they calculate benefits? This is particularly important of that generation. I'm not being, sexist or anything, but a lot of people, the male worked in the traditional household back then, and the woman stayed at home or worked intermittently. So how do we get full benefits for the woman if she, raised kids for 10 years, went to work, and raised more, went back and forth? And so that's very, very important to have a calculation of your earnings history. So Social Security, you can find that on SSA.gov. Everybody, even if you wanted to explore this further, I would ask that you go to SSA.gov. If we had more time, I would actually just bring it on the website. Yes?
Our husband and I both took it at 62. Then we're locked into that. Is there any other thing related to Social Security that we can avail ourselves of related to Social Security, not other financial things?
You have disability? Is everybody healthy in your family, or
So far.
so far? Well, there's a little known fact that you could return the money that they gave you. That's it. So you take out a loan, you could work. That's right. You can take out, and you could suspend that, and take all the money back until you change your mind. So that's a little more advanced. So I'm glad you bring that up, but that's further down our discussion here. So let's talk about it a little bit. So they stopped mailing those things. Remember, you used to get those every year, and it gave you a whole. Yeah, during the budget crisis. Now, I understand, don't get angry at me, I don't work there, okay? So, I'm not a government worker. But yeah, I agree. So you could go to ssa.gov and you gotta set up a username and a password and all that good stuff, and then go from there. ssa.gov, set up a username, password, and they will print, you can print your report that you're expecting every year. Now, I heard through the grapevine that something in Congress clicked and somebody agreed, A agreed on B or whatever, and they may send you one next year. But take charge of it.
They made one, I didn't hear you.
They're gonna send your Social Security benefits. That chart that it's like a green and white 4-page thing that was like folded in half. Did you just get one?
I just got mine yesterday, and the only difference is they cheapened the paper that,
They cheapened.
it's a one-color printout. but
It's
I-
a one-color printout, okay.
But I did get my statement.
Okay, was it written on toilet paper, do you know? 'Cause I know that's
You know what I'm saying?
All right, yes, no, I do. You're the first person to say that, so I don't know if something material happened, but I know that for next year, I know they'll be issued.
Can we
Yes.
wait on questions until later?
Yes, okay, sure.
Filming this, and we'd rather just
That's right.
hear your presentation first.
Okay, Penny's requested that you hold your questions to the end.
Can I just ask one question before we start? I'm sorry, and then we'll start holding, because this relates to what you just said. This new paper statement that will be mailed out is not just for this year, or?
The question is the new paper statement mailed out just for this year? It will be for 2014 if it came for 2014, that's right. But if you're not working, the 2015 wouldn't be different, except that you've added another zero in your work environment. So we'll talk about that. So, fine on ssa.gov. I recommend everybody do that. Get on the Social Security Administration, create a username, all that good stuff. You create a password, and then they'll get you access to everything you need to know about that. I want to mention to you very importantly that I'm here a little bit to talk about how to maximize Social Security. They're not contractually, Social Security Administration is not, I have to be careful because I'm being filmed, they're not contractually told, they can't give you advice as to what's best for you. They're there to help you. If you ask them a direct question, they'll give you a direct answer, they'll give you numbers, but you say, well, should I file on my ex-husband for 2 years, and then they don't answer those what-if questions, nor do they explore other strategies for you. And if you imagine you're sitting on a pot of money, and someone comes in and says, I want my money, it's great, well, how do you think I should take it out? They're not going to be they're not contractually not able to be forthcoming about giving you advice. Is that clear? Did I say that correctly? You got the gist of what I was saying without being crazy here? Okay. So, top 25 years, adjusted for inflation, you are getting a cost of living increase next year. For those that are on Social Security, everybody know what the amount is?
1.7%.
What?
1.7.
Yes, excellent. You're married? Can't give you everything. All right, hold on. We'll give you a CD. I feel bad. There's wires over here. Okay, that's right. You actually get a 1.7 increase. We do show. The other thing you need to know is that your primary insurance amount, which is called the PIA, my kids are sometimes a PIA, but it's not the same acronym. And PIA formula, you get 3 bend points. This is really complex, but 90% of the first $791, 32% of the next between $47 and $60. So what they're trying to do is 15% of the amount over $4,768. Well, this is confusing, but what this is saying is if you didn't work for the year and you said, okay, well, this is October, November, I'm going to go work for Hildreth's and if you could make $5,000 of W-2 earnings for the Christmas season, for the holiday season, this will add some numbers to your PIA number. You follow me? So you don't have to be making $80,000 a year to fulfill that requirement. They want 40 working quarters to get your PIA, primary insurance amount. All right. Some of you know this. Okay, COLA, this you call it. It's interesting, you can see what years the government had no increase. As you can see, those years, 0.0, 0.0. They said inflation was 0 during that time. Of course, we know that's not to be the case. Where's inflation today? They say for next year it'll be 1.7%. How do you know, is inflation much higher than that, at least from what you're seeing? How would you know? Give me an example.
Or what you spend in the stores and everything.
What you expend in the stores, yeah, meat's gone up. I know, I measure things, a couple of things. One is, I love chocolate chips by Ghirardelli. It used to come in a 12 ounce, same bag, making great chocolate, makes the chocolate chip, makes the cookies taste much better than Nestle's or Hershey's. And now it was 11 and a half ounces, so that I had it, now it's 10 ounces, I just saw in Walmart, so great. So here's something that, same price though, same price. Worse than that, if you have kids like I do, Puffs Plus, which is a lanolin coated tissue. You know, you used to get red noses all the time when you use the cheaper stuff, so we use the Puffs Plus. They used, in the box, was 250 tissues. How many do you think are in the box of tissues today?
100.
No, more than 100.
180.
Nope,
120.
close, 120, a little higher. I just saw it. It was, 3 months ago, 132. Now it's 124.
What tissue are you talking about?
Puffs Plus, Puffs Plus. But then the box is the same. The box is the same.
Less tissues.
Less tissues. So now I'm like, honey, why are we going through so many boxes of tissues? Now I know why. They have full. I'm paying the same price, they have full. So it's insidious. Of course, you know, we know heating oil and, is our electricity going up on Long Island? Did you see that in the news today? What the heck?
PSEG.
Yeah, they're supposed to go lower. I mean,
Yeah.
we're at the lowest oil prices in 84 years. Doesn't all make sense. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about inflation, which does affect retirement's pocketbooks. And it sounds like 1.7 is a great raise from Social Security, but honestly, it's not. Now, you look at this, I did a calculation since 1990, you had $2,000 for your full retirement age. And when you added all the cost of living in 1990, 2000, so in 24 years, you went from $2,000 a month to $3,482 a month. So you get the feeling like you're still behind the curve with that number, just to give you an idea. And that's using the exact numbers.
Is that a monthly payout?
Yes, that's a monthly
A
payment.
monthly
Yes.
payout.
Yeah, at 70, 3482 is the high. If you wait until age 70, that's your high for your monthly payment. Okay. All right, pension payments are not earnings for Social Security purposes. Only earned income, your wages, or net income from self-employment is covered by Social Security. You may have to pay income tax on pensions, but you do not have to pay Social Security taxes. These types of income are not on your, so if you're a retired police officer, fireman, or something like that, your pensions are not subject to Social Security. There are some people outside of the Social Security system. Anybody can name somebody who would be outside of the Social Security system who worked for many years but do not get a Social Security? Can you name? Railroad people, excellent. Catholic priests, yes, that's good. Actually, Catholic priests do get W-2 earnings. I have some clients. And also a lot of postal workers, depending on when they were hired, don't get Social Security. They get a federal pension. All right. Can I work and collect benefits?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. The amount that you could work, though, the amount that you could earn and not get penalized has come down. So before you full retirement age, remember I said that's a pivot number for Social Security, your exempt amount is $15,120, then for every dollar you earn, you get a dollar reduction for every $2 in income. Do you see that? During your full retirement age, you have an exempt amount of $40,000, $40,080, and you get a $1 reduction for every $3 earned. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to wait till FRA, full retirement age, as to take your Social Security. You're getting penalized less. If you take it earlier, you're getting penalized more. Everybody understand that?
But in this case, it would only be if you plan to continue working and collect age 66.
The question is if that's only because you're continue working and do tend to collect at age 66 or full retirement age. Yeah, that's correct. Just so for the video, I repeat what you're saying. All right. Will my benefits be taxable? Here's something very interesting. People don't believe this, but 50% of your benefits are taxable, of your Social Security benefits taxable, if you're earning greater than 25,000, less than 34,000, and 85% of your benefits are taxable, earning greater than 34,000 if you're single. Now, I want you remember the days that we're talking, this is during the second Bush administration, called the marriage penalty. If you're married, you would think on the bottom, greater than 34,000, you should double that number if you're married. That would be 68,000, right? Because you're married. That's two people. I wonder if they're with these new same-sex marriage, if they're going to change that. But right now, you can see someone's getting the short end of the stick. If you're married, you only pick up another 10,000. It really should be 68. That's called the marriage penalty. And the government, again, in all their wisdom, hasn't really addressed that. I think it would help a lot of people, particularly here on Long Island, if we can get that up to 68,000. All right, Social Security planning. Okay, make sure you have all the facts before starting Social Security. You want to know your complete wage history, that you can find that on ssa.gov. Something to think about is your retirement age. When do you desire to retire? The other thing is when people come into our practice, and they come into the practice mainly to plan their retirement, and Social Security, as I said, is a critical component of that. But I may ask them, is your mom alive? Is your dad alive? This is what an insurance company underwriter would want to know. And what age did they pass if they died? You have somebody who's passed, their dad died at 57 of natural causes. It makes you think that something genetically is going to flip on the person. So we try and do an estimated life expectancy as best as possible, not using any rocket science, but we just do like a thumbnail. But that's important because if I know that we have to keep you living, my dad's oldest brother, Alfonso Ferrantino, he lives in Texas. He's 99 years, just turned 100. He wrote the president a letter, and all of us a letter, saying he doesn't want any birthday cards or, it's one thing if you're 100, I guess you could say things like that. He wrote him a letter, said, do not call me. They used to call people. There's a lot of people turning 100 these days, so they stopped calling them, but they would send him a letter. To let everybody know he didn't want to be recognized for being 100 years old. But had he known that his savings would have to go to age 100, that's a different story. So if you're 74 and you're going to go to 100, that's another 26 years of investing or whatever you're doing. That money's got to last another 26 years. That's the challenge, and that's what people aren't waking up to. The challenge is that the doctors today, and the way things are, is that your health, they've improved incredibly. They can keep people alive, where just a couple of years ago, they would die very quickly. So the estimated life expectancy is the most underrated, under-discussed situation in retirement planning, and that's your biggest. It's not inflation. It's living a really long life, which is what we want, right? We want our parents to want to live forever. We can bottle it, let's do it. But the question is, we don't want to outlive our assets. And the chances of people outliving their assets are far greater than they ever have been in years past because people are just living longer. The doctors can do it. I'm a paramedic here, EMTCC, Advanced Life Support, and we're going a lot of calls, and we could bring people back. And we have things before, we were doing like CPR on the ambulance, standing over a person. By the way, I'm a CPR instructor. Come back tomorrow, and I'll bring the dummies in. So we have this Lucas device. You put it on, and the thing just pumps the chest. So now I could be like, okay, I'm the only one in the back of the ambulance. The thing's pumping for me. Hit the button, and that, I'm telling you, you could do IVs, things like that. It's as if the person was alive and pumping, and a lot of times we get them alive and pumping. We had tremendous success just on a code. So the changes in healthcare are tremendous. However, we haven't planned for the changes in healthcare as well as we plan to give good drugs. So that's just something that has to be discussed. Let's look at steps in the planning. What we like to do is gather information. You need to gather all the information. This is even if you're going to do this in your house. Get the numbers from the SSA.gov. You also pull your qualified money, your savings, and all that stuff. And decide when you're going to retire, and then calculate a life expectancy. Once we know some basics, we could do a bunch of other things. Now, there's a couple of strategies here that makes this process a little more complex. Filing now versus filing later, switching, we were starting to talk about that. All of these strategies are available to you if you wait. All these strategies are available to you if you wait to FRA. If you don't wait till FRA, then you've made an irreversible decision, only to be corrected by paying everything back. So we found one situation where a woman was 64, and she realized she could have collected on her ex-spouse, that she was married for at least 10 years. She wasn't married again, so she was eligible. The ex-spouse would not know that that person was collecting those benefits. And so boom, 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 went back and forth. And so she took out a loan, a small home equity line of credit against the house. Not telling you to do that. This is what she was aggressive about, which was great. Paid Social Security back every penny, 16 checks worth, and waited another 2 years and decided to go out, immediately file under her ex-husband's. And then when she became FRA, full retirement age, switched that off and then filed for herself. Interesting, right? So, but if you go down, and there's one in Riverhead, there's one in Patchogue. If you go down Social Security, I'm not going to tell you that. So, and some things we have to dig out, IRS papers and special white papers on certain things to show that this would qualify. So here's your Social Security benefit website, view your benefits, and now here's the biggest thing. Should I, if you do some calculations, right? I take it out at 62. Why wait until full retirement age? I know what I'm going to do. I take it out at 62. Aren't I getting 3 or 4 more years of payments, monthly payments? Yeah, albeit they're smaller, right? Did you ever think that? I'll take it out at 62, and at least I got money coming in. People argue that maybe Social Security won't be there when I'm older. Might as well take the money now while I have it. Right? Have you heard that before? Yes? I hear it all the time. Okay. So, well, we did some calculations, and some of the things that we're trying to take a look at. I ran 3 scenarios. One where someone started to take a smaller amount. I've added the cost of living adjustments in there. That's the red. The FRA, which is the blue, so they get exactly that number. And then what happens if you delay it to age 70? You're actually getting 132% of what you would have received at age 66, so 4 more years. So you go from $2,000, 4 more years gets you $2,640. That's a month, not a year. $2,640 a month. Okay, so let's put this on a graph and see what this looks like. What's your break-even analysis? So, at what age do we break even? Now, the red is the benefits at age 62. The blue is benefits at age 66. And the green is benefits at age 70. Can you see that? So the green sort of starts later, but then has a steeper curve. You got that? So it accelerates quicker. And the red starts early at 62 and then flattens out over time. So now, if we take this, I'm going to have to leave it. I'm going to take this and you look. So the proper calculation here is at about this point.
82.
82, 5 months, 82, 7 months, 83, somewhere over there. So that's your break-even point. If you can get to 82, you'll be ahead of the curve from that point forward. But if you live to 92, that's 10 years of a much higher salary. And then, of course, you're getting cost of living over the years. If you feel you can't get to 82, then certainly take it as soon as possible. And that's really a judgment call. 82, 83, it's in that ballpark. I do want to say that there's other factors. It's not just a straight break even. And so other factors at play. What a factor do you think might be in play? Again, not in the slides, but let's talk. Let's share with each other. What other factor? Yes, ma'am.
Well, it seems to me that the most important factor is not whether or not I can predict how long God is going to allow me to live, but how much money I've already paid into the system? What has my income been over the past 35 years? And what can I expect as a monthly benefit at this point, knowing what my earnings have been?
Right, so you're saying that, let's just look at the earnings, let's not worry about how the payout is, let's look at the earnings and how much of my money am I getting back? Is that what I hear you saying? It's a zero-sum game right now, so. There's more people taking it by a factor of 3 than there are people contributing to the system. So if you look at getting just your money back, it's not a good approach to the Social Security system. If you're looking to get your money back as to what you put into the system, then it's a lot more complex than that, because it's based on the current economy. The people funding the Social Security are people working now. People taken from Social Security are the people not working and of the full retirement age of 62 and above. With the onset of baby boomers, 10,000 are retiring every day. It's the largest, in terms of estate planning, it's going to be the largest transfer of wealth in history, in the United States history. So we'll take questions, and I understand what you're saying. My point is that we need to go to 82 if you feel you're going to go better. Now, the statistics, the odds are, if you're a 65-year-old female, it doesn't look like everybody's too young here, but if you're a 65-year-old female, you have over 70% chance of going to 84. If you're a male, you have less of a chance of going to 84, but not that much less of a chance. I think it's something like 52% chance. And if you're 70, you have a greater chance of going to 92. The longer you live, the higher your chances of you living longer. It kind of accelerates. Very interesting. The New York Times came out, it's on the side, but I'm seeing a lot of this. The New York Times came out with a big article on some survey that talked about people, that the majority of 65 and older are females, and 40% of them are single. And so that's having an effect on Social Security, because what it's doing is that it's telling people that they're going to get taxed more because they are single, and they are going to get taxed, and they are going to be impacting the system a lot more than someone who's fortunately or unfortunately married at 65. So it's not a judgment. I'm married, so it's not a judgment of that, but you realize that there's so many people over 65 that are single, can have an impact on it. All right. Strategies for couples. Let's talk about that. This gets a little squirrely, so we'll talk really quick about it. You have an actuarial reduction if you don't do any switching. If you file early, you don't have any options. So you're stuck. A woman just got up and left because she filed and she didn't want to return the money. So you're stuck to a certain calculation. If you get to FRA, it's true, she's right? I'm not making this up. Get the FRA. If you're older than the FRA, you get delayed retirement credits for every year that you wait. All right, so this program gets in a little bit of, you could file in a certain situation. Let's take an example. For restricted benefits, you file for benefits at full retirement age 66 for most of you. Your payments are restricted. That means the amount is based on the remaining spouse's benefit. That means whoever the spouse is, you're playing with their benefits until if it's a husband and wife and you both have decent numbers, again, this has to be calculated, the husband who maybe, I'm not saying it's always the case, but who maybe have had more years working, would file and suspend or restrict, saying that he would like to apply on his wife, who maybe worked 20 out of the 35 years, and have some money coming in, and then flip it at age 70, that's called restricted. As he's taking his spouse's benefit, he's getting an 8% increase on his own benefit until 70, and then they could switch, and then he could take his full benefit. That's called file and restrict. This gets a little complex. I had this computer program that we worked on and we use, and it's beautiful. I can't tell you, we charge a little something for it because it does cost us money, but it's a way of looking. It tells you, depending on what your potential age might be when you pass, what's the best way, and it gives you actually to the exact month. It'll say, husband files at 67 years, 2 months, wife suspends, and then do this, it gives you a whole story. Then it says, if you both live to 86, total benefits taking out of Social Security could be $1,800,000. Versus if you took it at 62 and you didn't have those options, and it breaks down the number each and every way that you do it. It'll say, here's what you can do, this is what normal people do, here's something you should look at. Now we work a lot with law enforcement, so it's superior officers, detectives, Joint Terrorism Task Force, DHS, Department of FBI agents, and our office in Melville, we get a lot of them coming in. And as you know, if you're a government worker, you work so many months and so many years, and then you get a pension. And so they're always looking for ways to, well, if I work another month, or if I do this much overtime, they're always working the system. And I said, wow, wouldn't it be great if we could do this with Social Security? We can do this with Social Security. So the question, so it's just a matter of, geez, if you could give the exact day, you walk into Social Security, you file, and you tell them exactly what you got to do. And you tell them, can I do this? They're not going to recommend it to you, but they're going to say, oh, yeah, you can do this. And then boom, you're in. All right. So that's file and restrict. We do have a couple of examples. One spouse suspends, one spouse files restricted. You file and suspend, your spouse files and suspends. You file restricted. Okay, so let's look at an example. It's one of those things that if you don't know how to work the system, you could be in trouble. Joe, 63, his Social Security benefit is at $21.75. He's expected to live to age 85. Deborah, with an H, is 61. I didn't come up with these names. Social Security benefit, FRA, is $11.45. Life expectancy is to 92. She has a longer life expectancy than him. Okay, got that. Maximum monthly income is $5,400. So how can they maximize it? If they file immediately, there's no special filing strategies. Their total lifetime benefits is about $1,800,000 as a couple. The recommended strategy, Joe suspends. That means he shows up at Social Security, says that I'm here, but I don't want my monthly payments. Files restricted, meaning taking his wife's benefit. The total lifetime benefits goes up. So this is the thing that they're not going to tell you. So, and you have to do a little math and put it on a chart. This is what we do. So we can actually calculate when things are going to happen for you. So Joe and Deborah, so they increase their lifetime benefits. They're actually getting 33% more income just by changing what they did. And then we can break it down year by year, and the chart, the computer program does some pretty good stuff. So, then you have some Social Security versus your desired retirement income. On Long Island, if you're living $65,000 a year, is that a lot of money? You living high on the hog in retirement, $65,000? Now we live in a good tax situation. Imagine you're in Levittown, you're in a 100 by 160 lot, and you're paying $12,000, $13,000 a year in property taxes. You got to realize your Social Security. I tell people, and I get in trouble because my office is up that way, but if you're getting Social Security, and let's say the wife's she's getting $18,000 a year, I tell us, you realize $12,000 of your $18,000 is just to pay school districts, your water districts, the fire districts, the ambulance district, the library, which is fine, but just put it in perspective. And $65,000 is not high on the hog on Long Island. So just to use that, just put everything in perspective. I think things need to change. Now in Nassau County, and I don't know in Suffolk, but there may be a tax increase on the rise. Mangano has said that, and out here as well. So we'll see what the following thing is. So today we discussed the basics of Social Security, about the Social Security planning process, planning strategies that we talked about: the file suspend, file restricted, the three major ones. That there's many others, and a sample report on how to maximize your benefits. Let me just see what are some of the other things you should review. We want to make sure, again, it's a holistic approach. It's not just about Social Security, it's really about retirement. How are things structured? People don't take advantage of, they may have things in their name. We'll say, why don't you put it in transfer on death or payable on death? It avoids probate. It doesn't take much for a bank or an investment company. We do it all the time. That will certainly save you a lot of time and money, and get the lawyers and the publicity out of your accounts. How you designate beneficiaries is important. It's all also part of the plan, how you designate beneficiaries. Some people we find people who still have ex-spouses on their pensions. They didn't really change anything when they're so angry about it. How accounts are titled. You want to title it maybe with your son or daughter versus your husband on some accounts. Projections of future tax burdens. Here's the thing, if you squint your eyes out in the future, and I'm not psychic, but we are spending a lot of money as a country. We needed to because we're in a hole. And someone who watches all the investments for people, I just think that it's somewhere along the line that someone's going to have to be paying for this. And if you look at who can you tax more, you say in the 26, I have a couple of millennials in my office working for me, and if you tax them, it's great, but they're not making that much money, and some of them still haven't gotten jobs when they graduated 4 years ago from Fordham or NYU or whatever. So they're going to be looking to where the big wealth is. And where's the big wealth? You guys. So we really need to make sure that the strategies that we employ, Social Security is something that's exposed, which is okay if we could make other things less exposed, meaning not go on your 1040. So this is retirement plan. I'm trying to talk to you as people. This is what we do because we're very passionate about it. If we get it off at 1040, then you're not paying taxes on it. And then the question is, how do we get it to the next generation? So if you think taxes are going up in the future, which I think might be a possibility, then the question becomes, how do we protect your assets? It's not how much you've earned, it's how much you actually keep. We want to make sure that you're able to keep as much as you have, as much as you possibly can. And that requires a little bit of work in addition to Social Security. Maximizing Social Security is absolutely an important part of it, but also it's only it's a piece of the puzzle which has a lot of other pieces that need to be protected, titled correctly, beneficiaries need to be looked at, risk levels of portfolios need to be looked at, and understanding risk-reward returns. And it's not one product that has an answer, it's not one sitting. It took you a long time to make your money, and certainly sitting in someone's office once and says buy this or buy that, that's not the answer either. So it's very, very important to understand that retirement planning and Social Security are very, very important components. All right, got to take action. This is one thing you got to take action. I had this guy at a B&L like 2 weeks ago. He really two wives that deceased on him. I called him last Friday Thursday, Halloween. I said, Joe, did you by the way, did you go to Social Security and tell them that you'd like to file on as a spousal benefit on your deceased second wife? And he said, no, I didn't get to it. Now he's knowing that he can collect, there's money waiting for him. But is Social Security going to knock on your door and say, hey, there's money coming to you? No, yes. Are they going to do that? Have you ever gotten that kind of call? No. He's got to do it himself. I mean, there's money, but he's like, I'll get to it. Every month he doesn't get to it, he's losing what? A check, whatever that amount is. So, kind of crazy. All right. Good, all right. So we talked today about Social Security, we talked about full retirement age, PIA, primary insurance amount, we talked about the 3 types of Social Security, spousal benefit, we talked about survivor benefit, and then your regular benefit, which is workers' benefit. And we talked a little about the history, about the culture and the dynamics of this country and how we collect it, that you're not entitled to this money, this is your money, and the idea is to get it back. Any questions? Okay, we're all out of time.